It's time for the Nebraska Women's Basketball Coaches Show, brought to you by BMO.
At top of the left wing, Darian White reverses it deep right side. Kendall Coley's going to take a three. You betcha! A triple for Kendall Coley.
Nice shot by Kendall. Good ball reversal by Nebraska.
High lob underneath. Caught by Markowski. Puts it up, and it counts! And a foul. What a dandy play from the side. Markowski hit the brakes. This lead for three. You betcha! On the right wing. She's on fire. That freshman pulls Nebraska back within 8. Length of the floor to go. She's having problems. Gets it in. It's deflected. Huskers get it back. Potts puts it up and scores. The Husker defense gets 2 points, and a Huskers lead by 5. Yeah. What a play. White in the forecourt. Markowski at the buzzer for three. You betcha! Brings the crowd to its feet. Alexis Markowski with a monster first quarter. Stewart bounces underneath. Natalie Potts asks for the ball. Guarded by Parrish. Puts it up over her, and it counts. And a foul. Natalie Potts with 19-9.
Now with Amy Williams, here's your host, Jessica Coody.
And welcome into our Nebraska Women's Basketball Show. I'm Jessica Coody. We've got the head coach, Amy Williams, here with us for the next hour. We got a full 2 hours coming up for you here on the Huskers Radio Network. But for the next hour, we're going to spend talking Nebraska women's basketball with the head coach. Coach, you staying warm? It's kind of chilly out there.
Yes, I know. And I think it's going to maybe even dip a little bit cooler the next few days. But we've been doing everything to stay warm. I keep saying all the time it's 72 degrees in the gym every day, Jess. Like, this is why indoor climate-controlled sports are greater than.
Yes, that's the way to go. Yes, stay inside. Well, we're going to talk a lot about your team coming up, but I did want to start off asking you about the big win for Nebraska men's basketball last night over Purdue. You guys have such a cool relationship between the two teams, and you and the assistant coaches. Even last week, Adam Howard was here. You guys were talking about the teams.
Yeah.
I know you're a big fan of this team. Your team was there supporting them last night. Yeah. How awesome was it for you to get to watch them knock off Purdue last night?
Oh, my gosh. It was so incredible, so much fun. I just think couldn't happen to better coaches and coaching staff and more well-deserving staff, but also, a team that I've been able to sense just all summer that the energy coming from their gym right next door to us, it's just different. And to watch that work going in and then to see it paying off last night, it was just so special. Yesterday was my husband's birthday, but there was no way he was missing that game and being in the arena for that game. And I'm so glad that that we got to witness that win, and just so stinking awesome. And just the way that Husker fans were able to celebrate that with them, it was so cool.
Nice birthday present for Lloyd.
Yes.
Happy birthday to him for that win.
Absolutely.
How does their success and you guys' success, how does that help each other when you guys are both having success?
Well, there's no doubt in my mind that that all that success breeds success, and people, just the rising tide rises all ships, and everybody wants to be around winning and wants to kind of be able to learn and see. And I think when our players can see the effort and intensity that their team puts into things, and then to see that paying off for them, it makes us want to be able to kind of raise our level. And I just think that you can really build off of winning teams. And fortunately, here at Nebraska, we've been able to witness a lot of winning this year, and just watching our soccer team win championships, our volleyball team playing in a national championship, winning the Big Ten title, just lots of teams that are having success. And I think that helps want to elevate the expectations for all the other programs as well.
Very cool. All right, 402-413-2400, that number to call or text if you want to be a part of the show tonight with Coach Williams. All right, let's go back to Sunday. And before we get into the game, it was just a special day all around. And before you even got the game tipped off, honored Jordan Hooper, which we talked a lot about. But to see it happen, to see the number, to see the unveiling of her number, how special is that for you to get to be a part of that?
Yeah, it's really hard to kind of put into words exactly just how, that moment, just like, I was emotional multiple times throughout the weekend, and I didn't even get the privilege to actually coach her, but just hearing the way that her teammates spoke about her and the impact that she had on so many, knowing that I have current players on my roster that grew up, little girls, just really idolizing, Jordan Hooper and the way that she went about her business, and but just how humble she is and how appreciative she was of the honor, knowing that it's so well earned and well deserved. But what just a special person she was, and the impact that she had on everyone that she touched while she was here at Nebraska and beyond, and since then, and so it's just emotional. It's hard not to get emotional just watching somebody like that celebrated on that type of stage.
It was special to see her emotion, and then because she seems kind of, I don't know her too well, but she seems kind of stoic, but to see her overcome with how the crowd recepted her and were cheering for her. And again, the crowd that we challenged to get out there, boy, they were there, and they supported, and they were very appreciative of her. You could tell by their response when they announced her to come out there.
No doubt about it. I mean, what an incredible crowd, and the way that they, it's probably many of those people have been coming to Husker women's basketball games since Jordan Hooper was getting buckets and doing her thing in a Husker uniform and still there. But just the way Husker Nation showed out to support her and show their appreciation for all she's done for our program was really special, and I could tell that it really meant a lot to her, and she was, kind of emotional. We both were trying to keep it together, and it was really just a fun and special night.
All right, let's talk about the game. How tough of a matchup is Indiana? They're 14, but I feel like they're better than the 14th best team in the country.
Yeah, I mean, it was a tough game, and just kind of a combination of us not doing the things that we really need our team to do to be able to be successful, and them coming in and just being really, really good. And I thought they shot it well from the get-go, but, they are leaning on a fifth-year senior, a senior, and a sophomore in their starting lineup. Just really a very veteran and experienced group that I think is obviously on a 12-game winning streak now, and just really playing very good basketball. So, it was a tough game for us, but we learned some things about ourselves, and hopefully can really adjust from the things that Indiana took advantage of and start to work towards becoming the best team that we're capable of.
Your post-game, you had said that you were disappointed because you felt like they out-toughed you guys, which is something that you challenge your players on. Where were some of those areas that you look to, and then maybe you show on film that they out-toughed you guys? Yeah,
I thought that it really was evident in the screening. And we did not screen bodies very well. We kind of, they were able to defensively avoid our screens, as opposed to the other side of the basketball where we were kind of banging into screens and getting contact, and they were able to, because of that, get some clean lanes to the basket and open looks. And so, that area in particular is one that has been a huge focus for us, and something that, since that game and in the last couple days of practice, and is something that I thought was really telltale of the toughness.
Jess Petrie came off the bench. I thought she did some good things. Were you pleased with her and how she was able to come in for you guys?
Yeah, I think Jess has been working really, really hard, and I think that's been showing up in just her confidence. And we've been talking about everybody that gets an opportunity to come into the games. We really need them to come in with the mindset of, how can I help make game-winning plays? And that doesn't mean I have to score points. It means I have to get a rebound, or take a charge, or make the right defensive play, or, play smart to our scouting report defense, or, just those game-winning plays can come in a lot of different ways. But I think she's really taken that to heart. She's been trying to find ways when she gets opportunities to be able to impact the game in a positive way. And I thought she did some nice things for us in that game.
Hey, your bench production's been outstanding, really, and it continues to grow. But it seems like every time we have you in here or have the Nebraska Women's Basketball Show, we're talking about somebody that has made big contributions off the bench. I mean, Logan Nisley had 13 on Sunday, too. How important is that? How do you develop that where you do have a full bench that can come in and not just, hey, spell minutes when somebody's in foul trouble, but actually contribute and make those game-winning plays?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just our emphasis continues to be on that, and I think continuing to, put in the work for those young ladies. Everybody on our team knows that work leads to confidence, and our motto this year has been in the work, the win, and being able to kind of fall in love with that work. And so I think that we've had players, starters and bench players that have continued to stay diligent about getting in extra and putting in extra work. And then when they get their opportunities, that work pays off and that confidence is there and they're ready to step in. And Logan Nisley did just an amazing job of that, and I thought, did the things we needed her to do when she came into the ball game to give us scoring punch.
So I want to circle back and go back to the crowd because you had over 9,000, so that's back-to-back games that you guys matched the season high. And again, Jeff Greesh, he's the numbers guy, and he gave me a lot of really great tidbits, but you guys are now 13th in the nation in total attendance, continuing to rise. You just passed Ohio State, but the Big Ten continues to be really good in attendance too. What does that do for you guys as a program? Just not only that when you play at home, you're going to have that attendance, but also when you go on the road, a lot of times you're seeing that kind of attendance.
Yeah, I mean, it just is so special. And we had a lot of recruits that were at the game this past weekend, and they feel that energy, that love. Just being able to experience that, knowing that you're at a place that really supports and cares about women's basketball to that level, and that you're going to have that type of attendance and people that are there pulling for you. It's impactful in a lot of ways, not just in the games. Our teams being able to feed off that energy. I mean, last night, I'm sure Fred would have said that the Huskers really fed off of that crowd. Yeah. Last night, it was just electric in there. So that's huge in and of itself. But the impact that it has on things like, recruiting, when players are sitting in an arena and feel that and see that and know what, 10,000 crazy fans, just getting loud and excited for what you're doing on the court, that matters. It makes a huge difference, and it's something that's we will never take for granted. I don't think we ever have, but ever since COVID and the quiet gyms and the fake crowd noise and whatever, it's something that we are appreciative of every single time we run out to that.
Just the kind of the exposure that's happening with women's basketball. We were just talking about Iowa, Indiana are going to be on Fox, and the more games that you guys get on national television and the attendances and all of that. As a head coach of a women's basketball program, what has that meant to you to see it continue to grow, continue to get that exposure, and just, again, the growth of the sport? How important is that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really important because, we've known for a really long time that a lot goes into this. There's a lot that we put into, there's a lot of work. And then we've known for a long time that this is just a really good and entertaining form of sport and competition, and that if people will really tune in and pay attention and start really, investing in it, that it can just boom and it can really grow. And I think we're seeing that now. We're seeing some of the payoffs for really, putting that investment into it, and it makes all of the work and the growth and the investment worth it.
All right, got our first text for you on the text line. Denny in Omaha wants to know, have you thought about using Petrie at the 4?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, that's the best thing about Jess Petrie is that we are in a position with her that, she continues to grow and gain confidence, that she's going to be the versatile player that can play in multiple positions. Mm-hmm. And, so that's something that, we've been really practicing with her. And I think she's bounced back and forth between the 4 and the 5 a little bit all season. And that versatility that she has on the offensive side of the ball has put us in a position to where we feel confident in that. And I think the biggest thing for us right now is just giving her some time to get used to the defensive schemes when she has to defend another team's 4 versus, defending the other team's 5s, and just gaining some confidence in both of those things on that side of the ball.
All right, great answer. All right, we're going to take our first break here on our Nebraska Women's Basketball Show. Keep those texts coming in on our Woodhouse Auto Family hotline. Woodhouse Auto Family is your trusted auto partner with 20 brands and 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. 402-413-2400 is that number, and we're back with more with Coach Williams coming up.
I'm Tom Osborne, former football coach and founder of the Teammates Mentoring Program. I'm recruiting for the team, and I want it to be the finest team in America. I'm looking for someone like you to be a teammate's mentor, someone who is willing to reach out to a child and make a difference. Meeting with a student once a week at school can make an impact in their life and in the community. We want you to join our team. Go to teammates.org to apply today.
Woodhouse has got you covered for your next car, truck, or SUV. We are committed to making the car buying and owning experience better, thanks to our knowledgeable sales staff and factory-certified technicians. You can discover our large inventory of new and pre-owned vehicles anytime at woodhouse.com, where we have made buying a car easier than ever. Whether you need a family hauling SUV, a car to take you around town, or a hard-working truck, Woodhouse has something for everyone.
DIY, didn't you just call an electrician? The online videos can only take you so far, and John Henry's is here to pick up where you left off. With our full-service electrical department, John Henry's is prepared to tackle all of your electrical needs, from a simple outlet change to a full panel replacement. We've got you covered. Call
John Henry's
to schedule today.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing. Heating and air.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers, you ready for some SUV action? Toyota SUVs can roll their sleeves up for tight turns and twisty trails, dress up for a night out on the town, or head to the great outdoors. Take your family adventure game to a whole new level with the roomy Highlander. Make a serious splash with the rugged, revved-up RAV4. And tow all your toys in the spacious new Sequoia. Don't forget the trail-taming 4Runner and the sleek Venza Hybrid. All Toyota SUVs feature a whole suite of creature comforts to keep you and yours cozy in the cabin. Check out this legendary lineup at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. Let's create yours with a built Ford Tough truck. Ford F-150 with impressive max towing capability and available Pro Trailer backup assist. So navigating tight spaces is as easy as turning a knob. Plus, with available Pro Power on board, you have power on demand. Be future ready with Ford F-150.
Now get 2.9% financing for 72 months on a new 2023 Ford F-150. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
There's no community like a Cenex community, and that's why every Cenex store is so proud to serve theirs by supporting local athletic teams, promoting the arts, and making sure each store is a place its neighbors can find what they need, catch up with their friends, and stay connected. It's also why we give back, helping to make the wonderful places we call home the best they can be. Your local Cenex doesn't just work in your town, it lives there. The store next door, powered locally at Cenex.
Noddle Companies is proud to support Husker Athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunnyside Exarban, and row house townhomes on Leavenworth. Nottle Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Nottle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
For farmers, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. And at Valley, we feel the same, delivering game-changing technology and irrigation solutions that advance agricultural productivity, with the results to prove it. From our leading irrigation technology to expert advice, you can always rely on Valley to bring out the best in your farm. At Valley, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. Welcome you back to our Nebraska women's basketball show. I'm Jessica Coody, joined by the head coach, Amy Williams. We talked about the game against Indiana, but I did want to go back to Wisconsin because we haven't had a show since then. And a big win on the road for you. It's never easy, right, to go on the road and win that. And maybe wasn't always pretty, but you guys found a way to gut it out. How big was that one for you guys to move to 3-0 to start conference play?
Yeah, that was just a huge win, and any win on the road is a big win. And so for us, that one felt really good. It wasn't the best that we've played collectively as a whole, and specifically, we were a little disappointed with the rebounding and getting out-rebounded at Wisconsin. It was a close battle, but we got kind of barely out-rebounded. And so that's something that we take a lot of pride in and want to kind of clean up and shore up for moving forward in Big Ten play. But honestly, just knowing and having a lot of respect for, Wisconsin has really talented young group that one of the better post players in our league, and Sarah Williams, that just is a load to handle inside, and really, really good point guard that's emerging this year in Ronnie Porter. And so for us to go in there to their place and secure a win, we felt great about that. We're going to feel good anytime we can go on the road in the Big Ten Conference and win.
Natalie Potts had 16 points in the second half. She scored the first 8 points for you guys out of the second half. And, yet again, she is the Big Ten Freshman of the Week, her fourth time being named the Big Ten Freshman of the Week. What kind of gets into her going into the second half? Because that was like back-to-back games that she went off in the second half.
Yeah, I know, right? I did kind of tease her that you don't have to wait till halftime if you don't want to. But honestly, I've kind of commented on this a little bit, but I think it really is a special talent. And I think, a couple things in both of those games, there's maybe been a couple of quick fouls that have maybe limited her just a little bit in the first half. And so, being able to get under control with that and not be in that position. But I'm really proud of the characteristic inside of Natalie that it takes to be able to not score in the first half of a ball game, but bounce back and lead us in scoring in the second half. That takes a great toughness mentally and a resiliency to be able to kind of have that type of bounce back. And I'm just really proud of the way that she has just continued to find ways to contribute for our team.
I talked to her last week, and she's a little bit quiet, but she's just got such a fun personality. She hates to lose. She's very, very competitive, right? I mean, She is wired in a way where she wants to win.
Yeah, and she's done a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
She's played in great programs for great coaches, and they learned how to win. And, when she won the state championship her senior year. That was her 100th straight win in high school basketball. So there's a lot of winning tradition for her at Incarnate Word Academy in that St. Louis area. And then her club team was no different, and just played for a really aggressive-minded club coach who did a lot of winning. And so she hasn't had to get used to that feeling, and I'm glad that she is not ever going to. So.
It was funny. I asked her about the rebounding against Maryland, and she goes, well, Alexis finally decided to share a little bit. She hogs all the rebounds, and I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
She's just got a fun personality. We did just get a text. Roger wants to know how Allison Widener is doing in her rehabilitation.
Yeah. I could not be more proud of Allison and the approach that she's taking on a daily basis. Like, she's really approaching her rehab the same exact way that I've seen her approach every single challenge that's ever come her way. And that's just to go head in, 2 feet in, just attack it and be competitive about trying to be the very best that she can be in each challenge that's thrown at her in her rehab. So, with Allison, for sure, the challenge is kind of pulling back the reins and not necessarily having to, dig the spurs in. And that's a great thing for coaches, for trainers, for strength coaches, for everybody that's trying to see her back and healthy out there doing what she loves to do.
She's a great teammate too, right? Despite not being able to be out there, it seems like she's all in, invested. However, whatever she can do, she wants to do it, right?
100%. And she's trying to find ways to learn. And I swear she could make better play calls than me. She's thinking the game. She's learning. She's being a great teammate. She's trying to help. I kind of coach the guards, the other players that play her position, on what she's seeing from the bench. And I think that's an important part of the rehab process as well, is to make sure that, mentally you're continuing to grow and challenge yourself. And she's really been great about that.
Roger also said, I forgot to read the first part. Congratulations, Coach Williams, having a great start to the Big Ten Conference early. And then he went on to say, love the depth of bench players and hoping to see more from Kendall Coley as well. Go Big Red. Thanks, Roger Lee.
Yeah, perfect. Well, thanks, Roger, for that text, for tuning in to Jess and I here tonight, and for following our team so closely, to have an appreciation for the depth, the bench, and the players that are working hard to contribute for our team.
So last week I had Damon Benning. He was on the show with us, and he's a big fan of yours. I guess you guys were neighbors at one point, right?
Yeah, Damon and I were in college at the same time, and really kind of ran into some of the same circles, and just very familiar. And now just happened that we have children that are the same age, and both having pretty fun senior years. And, so it's just been really kind of fun to watch that happen, and yeah.
And both Huskers, both going to be Huskers too.
Yeah.
But he brought up a comment about you're so nice and how you talk to everybody and everything, but don't for a second mistake that for not having that killer instinct as a competitor. So it brought up something that I wanted to ask you, because you're very competitive. Where did that initially come from? How did you develop that competitiveness?
Well, I grew up in a home with a dad as a coach, and I can remember from before I could walk, being drugged to the gym for games, and I remember that I loved the feeling way more after wins than losses. But I also had 2 brothers and a sister in my house, and there were a lot of competitions. And I remember, going to the gym and early, where, it started off, my dad would take my oldest brother to the gym, and they would shoot and shoot and shoot for hours. And my brother was a Elks hoop shoot national champion.
Wow.
Went all the way through, and whatever from that. And started out, I would just bring my roller skates and roller skate around the outside of the gym while they were shooting. But pretty soon, it didn't take too long before I wanted to kind of get in on the games that were being played, the competition, the smack talking, just the bragging rights, and competition with my brothers. it was pretty intense, and it didn't have to be basketball. Like, we had a foosball table in our house, and, there were times that foosball table was flipped upside down because somebody would lose or, whatever. And it just, I think that siblings created a lot of the competition and that drive kind of inside of me.
You're a pretty good foosball player?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, that was something I was very, very good at for a while, and then it's been a while since I've spent much time doing it. But there were very heated games in our house.
So I don't think I've ever asked you this, but did you always want to be a coach and follow in your dad's footsteps?
That's such a great question, Jess, because I think probably like deep down inside, like I can vividly remember, coming home from my games in high school, and back in those olden days, it was VHS, whatever, but wanting and craving, to sit down with my dad and pop the VHS tape in and go through and talk through the games. And, so I think probably it always was inside of me. But when I came to Nebraska, that was not the intent. And I came here on a academic scholarship and was a walk-on the basketball team that eventually earned a basketball scholarship. But, I was a biology and math double major, and I thought that I was going to go to medical school. And when I was doing an internship out at St. Elizabeth's Hospital, and I was, I just kind of came to grips with the fact that I don't think I want to go to the hospital every day for the rest of my life. And I think, I was kind of pursuing that path because I was a pretty good student and people expected that of me. But when I really thought about what it was that I wanted to do, I think there was just never any doubt in my mind that I wanted to coach basketball and have an impact on young people the way that my coaches have had on me. And I've never looked back since I made that decision and got my first position as a graduate assistant at Nebraska Kearney, and I just loved every second of what I do since then.
So what was that phone call like to Dad when you said, Dad, I'm not going to do the medical field, I'm going to get into coaching?
I think, honestly, Jess, Dad was like understanding and kind of knew that was in my blood, but Mom, Mom was, you want to what? But, my mom is one of the smartest people I've ever known, and is very, very highly intelligent. And my dad was always very clear that I got some of the good student from Mom. And so I think, my mom being married to a coach, she kind of knows some of the other side of what goes along with being a coach. And so she's like, are you sure? But now my mom is the one that analyzes all the box scores for me. And statistically, she's like paying attention to everything. She's very into the analytics, and she's just as invested in Husker women's basketball as anybody.
And they listen, right? When they're not here, they're listening to the radio, right?
Without question, they are 100% tuned in, locked in, and paying attention and to every single second of what's going on.
Oh, that's great. All right, got to work in another break here on our Nebraska Women's Basketball Show. See a couple of texts rolling in. We will get to those. You could win a 2024 Porsche from Porsche Omaha this season. 4 lucky Husker fans will have a chance to win a 2024 Porsche if they make a full court putt at halftime at one of 4 home men's basketball games this season. For more information and the official rules, go to www.huskers.com/putt.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
Don't miss out on limited-time appliance deals during the closeout event at Lowe's. Get up to 35% off select major appliances. Plus, save an extra $100 when you spend $999 or more on all major appliances. Hurry, these deals are too good to last long. Shop in-store or online today, because Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid 1/4 through 1/24. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for details.
Husker fans, your fourth-ranked Nebraska wrestling team needs you to pack the Bob Devaney Sports Center on Friday, January 12th for their Big Ten home opener and a top 5 matchup against number 2 Iowa. The duel will begin at 6:30, and the first 300 fans will receive a Nebraska wrestling shirt. For more information or to secure your tickets, visit huskers.com/tickets or call 402-472-3111.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Are you a hardworking individual who wants to learn, grow, and thrive in your career? Kidwell is looking for electrical apprentices, journeymen, and low-voltage technicians in Omaha, Lincoln, and Kearney. Whether you are in the market for an entry-level or senior position, there is a place for you at Kidwell. Learn more and view current openings at KidwellCareers.com. Must be 17 years or older and pass a background check, drug screen, and physical. Kidwell, see beyond. Inspiring connectivity and communication since 1948.
Maybe your hometown celebrates long-standing Swiss traditions. Cow chip throwing. Or even classic car muscle. Everyone has a hometown, and every hometown has a festival. Cenex wants to hear about yours. That's why we're launching the Hometown Throwdown. Tell us about your fest, and it could win $100,000. Learn more at CenexHometownThrowdown.com. Cenex, powered locally.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. Let's create yours with a built Ford Tough truck. Ford F-150 with impressive max towing capability and available Pro Trailer Backup Assist. So navigating tight spaces is as easy as turning a knob. Plus, with available Pro Power on board, you have power on demand. Be future ready with Ford F-150.
Now get 2.9% financing for 72 months on a new 2023 Ford F-150. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
It's time for some Nebraska farm facts. Want to know a fast way to rev up our Nebraska economy while helping the planet? It's right in your tank. When you fill up with clean soy-based biodiesel, you're increasing Nebraska biodiesel production while reducing greenhouse gases by up to 74%. So look for biodiesel where you fill up. It benefits our air, our economy, and our farmers. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Nottle Companies is proud to support Husker Athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunnyside-Exarban, and row house townhomes on Leavenworth. Nottle Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Nottle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
Are you a hardworking individual who wants to learn, grow, and thrive in your career? Kidwell is looking for electrical apprentices, journeymen, and low-voltage technicians in Omaha, Lincoln, and Kearney. Whether you are in the market for an entry-level or senior position, there is a place for you at Kidwell. Learn more and view current openings at KidwellCareers.com. Must be 17 years or older and pass a background check, drug screen, and physical. Kidwell, see beyond. Inspiring connectivity and communication since 1948.
BMO is a proud sponsor of the Huskers Radio Network. We're committed to helping our customers make real financial progress. To learn more, visit BMO.com. Got a couple more segments left here with Amy Williams on our Nebraska Women's Basketball Show. Got a couple of texts for you. Rudy in Florida said, "Thanks, Coach Amy Williams. I believe you made the right choice to be a coach, and I am old but don't even like to visit the hospital."
Oh, what a nice text. Thank you very much for that.
And Dennis said, just like the football team chooses one game to wear throwback uniforms, would you ever do the same for one game?
Yeah, so we are pretty structured and rigid on kind of our uniform package, and usually that we get one kind of alternate uniform, and that's kind of just dependent on, different games. It might be for the Black History Month. It might be, alternate uniform for that. It might be, something that is agreed upon with Adidas, like very, early on. And so I usually they don't let Coach Williams get involved with any design, design. They say I'm too old now to kind of know what's in, what's not. I like to keep things simple, and so I'm kind of a simple girl, but generally all those decisions are made well before the season begins, and if there is an alternate uniform, it's usually tied in conjunction with something and agreed upon by Adidas early.
We've seen some pictures back in your playing days. You had the long, baggy shorts, so I don't think the players these days would like any of that.
I know. You know what is so funny about that, Jess, is that I heard some kids, like my daughter's age, singing like a remix to Ski-Lo's I Wish I Was a Little Bit Taller, and that was like my theme song because I wore those big, baggy Allen Iverson, like, uniform and shorts, and I look just like definitely I wish I was a little bit taller.
Jeff in Omaha says, Coach, what is your favorite road trip in the Big Ten and why?
That's a that's a great question. I can think of challenges to every single one of them. I don't know.
Maybe okay. How about atmosphere? What are some of the places? Because Coach Hoiberg talks about Michigan State and Indiana. Is there a really fun atmosphere that's kind of fun to be a part of?
My goodness, there's a lot of really good atmospheres in the Big Ten. I mean, obviously, in the last few years, Iowa has sold out the games when we play there. But I think Purdue is just one of those places where it's like, man, the band is just right down there by your bench. You feel like their fans are just right kind of on top of you. And so that's one place that always kind of stands out as a place that's pretty tough to play, but also just kind of that has that environment where it just feels like it's kind of rocking right on top of you.
The volleyball coaches said that too.
Yeah.
Because of that. Like they're just all up in your grill, and it's tough. And then that mascot is real creepy if he's anywhere close to you too. Purdue Pete is not a very good looking mascot, so yeah, I can see how that'd be a challenge to play.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I wanted to get to this. Britt Prince was announced that she's a nominee for McDonald's All-American. The top 24 will be revealed on Tuesday, January 23rd. But I mean, what a senior season she's had, future Husker. How deserving is she to be a McDonald's All-American?
I think incredibly deserving. It's certainly not a surprise to anybody here. Just she's playing at an incredibly high level, and there's times where she had to miss some of her summer with some injury, and so she just is kind of unleashed, and she's just got a different focus about her right now, and it's just really been exciting to watch, and a well-deserved recognition and consideration for a player that I think is very deserving of being a McDonald's All-American.
It's crazy. It's like every other game she's put up 40-something points.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fun to follow her high school career, and even more exciting knowing that she's going to be in a Husker uniform too someday.
Agreed.
So you guys, right now, top 30 in the net, and this is another thing I was talking to Jeff Grisha about. How much do you pay attention to all of that? And I know you got a couple matchups coming up with top 40 teams that are in the net, and just it's important with how you get into the NCAA tournament post-season, all that kind of stuff. How much do you pay attention to that, or do you not really?
It is something that we pay pretty close attention to, and mostly Amanda Hart on my coaching staff, who is constantly working with the Big Ten gurus and our coaching staff to try to help us make the right decisions with our scheduling and the non-conference and how that's affecting us in the net and the things that we did. Obviously, we felt like we put together a very challenging non-conference schedule, and so games that give me ulcers, like having to go on the road and playing at like a Wyoming or something, but what that does for you when you can go on the road and beat a team like that in the net, and then they go on to be able to have a successful conference season, and the way that can affect things for you, and is one reason why we're currently still ranked in the top 30 in the net, and put ourselves in a pretty good position. All that matters when you're trying to build a resume for yourself on selection Sunday and when that time comes to be putting yourself for seating and positions and things like that. So it's something we're paying attention to, no doubt, but at this time in the season, we have no more control over our schedule at this point. It is what it is, and so our focus really kind of shifts to we're all obviously building non-conference schedules into the future and trying to make decisions all the time. But right now our focus is just, let's win the next game. And what's the most important game on our schedule? It's just the next one.
And then, just competing in the Big Ten, and you have teams that go into a season, and I'm sure everybody across the country, every conference is, we want to win a conference title. But how do you guys go about attacking that goal and believing that you can compete and contend for a Big Ten title, and kind of setting out upon maybe putting yourself into a position to be able to contend for a Big Ten title?
Yeah, you just have to keep the focus on, in the work, the win.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you can really get kind of bogged down if you start thinking, constantly with the telescope goals on the Big Ten title, and really just need to bring it back to the microscope goals of what needs to happen today to help us prepare to beat Illinois tomorrow.
Right.
And one game at a time, being able to be consistent with our efforts, consistently making improvements and creeping towards becoming the best team that we're capable of being. And then those kinds of things will take care of itself when the time comes.
Your good friend Art in Los Angeles just sent in a text that wants to know if you like runses, and on the Temperature Tuesdays. That was a big thing. I didn't know about that until Tuesday, and it took the social media by storm. I had multiple people asking me about it. So are you our Temperature Tuesday runses fan?
I am a huge Runza fan. I love Runzas in general, but this time of year, I am particularly excited about their chili and cinnamon roll combo. That is something that my husband from Texas knew nothing about, the combination of eating cinnamon rolls with chili, but the fact that Runza has that as a meal this time of year is like something that I really love about it, and kind of even makes a more special place in my heart for Runza.
Art also said, by the way, tell Coach, I still think the Huskers will go far in the NCAA tournament. I love this team. # Final Four GBR.
Yes. Thanks, Art. I love his belief continues. And I can promise you this, that when we get to that Final Four for the first time, we're going to make sure Art's there.
Yes. Yes. We'll love to hear that. All right. We got to work in our final break here on our Nebraska Women's Basketball Show, but keep it right here. We got one final segment with the coach. We're going to preview the next couple of games for the Huskers, couple big wins. Dorothy Lynch, Homestyle and Light and Lean Dressing, endless flavorabilities.
Nottle Companies is proud to support Husker Athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunnyside-Exarban, and row house townhomes on Leavenworth. Nottle Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Nottle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska exists to be there with you. From the first bell to final exams, they are rooting for the schools and teachers who make our communities great. Throughout the year, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska and Nebraska Athletics will be honoring outstanding educators who help Nebraska's students reach their potential. If there's a teacher you want to recognize for the impact they've made in your community, find a nomination form at huskers.com/teachers.
It's time for another round of Nebraska Farm Facts. If there's one thing Nebraska's known for, it's our beef. And Nebraska soybeans feed a lot of them, and even more pigs and chickens. Farmers and ranchers raise livestock and poultry to provide nutritious, affordable protein for all ages to help build muscle and maintain energy for a healthy lifestyle. Keep that in mind as you prepare all that tasty meat on your tailgate grill. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. Final segment here of our Nebraska women's basketball show with head coach Amy Williams. Got a funny text for you, Coach, that just rolled in. Could you tell us your favorite manager? By the way, this is Darren's dad. Don't be afraid to holler at him if he is not hustling for you. Love watching your girls play with great effort and energy. Good luck the rest of the way, from Wes.
Oh, awesome. Thanks for texting, Wes. The answer to the question, since you're the one texting, is Darren is my favorite manager. So I will say, kind of on a little bit of a serious note, we do not do anything that we get done without the support of our managers. We've got the best group ever. They just are, they're fun. They have a great attitude. They just do whatever needs to be done for our team. And so just a special, special group of managers, and them along with our male practice team play such a huge, huge role for our team. And so Wes, we love having Darren involved in the program. He doesn't really need to be hollered at much. So,
but if he does,
yeah, if he does, I have permission. I'm going to let Darren know.
It's just a huge operation that takes a lot of bodies to make work and make work successfully, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think just, really, really a fun way for people to continue to stay involved in athletics and to stay involved and be a part of something and really be invested because, we really need their efforts. And so it's been good.
All right, got a couple more minutes left with you. Up next, Illinois coming up tomorrow night. You look at the record, 6-7, but this is a team that went to the NCAA tournament last year. They got almost everybody back. They're better than that 6-7 record, right?
Most definitely, and they're in a situation where they were an NCAA team a year ago, and they have their top 6 players all back. Every starter that started for them last year is all back this year, but they did have a little stretch where they had some injuries and some players that were not, were missed several games, and that's kind of led to the situation that they're in now. But I think they are incredibly hungry. They've proven that they can play with anybody. They were in a incredibly close, competitive game on the road at Indiana, which we just got to taste a little bit of how competitive Indiana is this year. So we know that in the Big Ten Conference, it's always every night out going to be tough, but particularly with an experienced roster like Illinois is going to be coming in here with tomorrow.
So what are going to be the keys against Illinois then?
Yeah, I think a couple of big, huge keys will be our ability to get back and locate in transition defense, and that's something that we didn't particularly do very well against Indiana, but also Illinois is just as dangerous. They have a lot of weapons. They can really push pace and get into the paint for easy buckets and kick out dagger threes. So we're going to try to limit that, and that'll be a huge key for us. And then our ability to defend and keep penetration in front of us without fouling and putting them to the free throw line will be another huge key.
All right, again, Nebraska, Illinois coming up tomorrow night. It's also Australia night. So you're going to get a poster with Jazz and Jess on there. You guys always love doing that. Those Australians are important to your program, huh?
They really are, and when you think about the sacrifices that they have made to come all the way across the world, to be here and pouring into this team and stuff, we feel really good about being able to celebrate them.
All right, again, 7 o'clock back inside PBA, and Matt Coatney, Jeff Grease will have the call for you starting at 6:30 right here on the Huskers Radio Network and Huskers.com/tickets to get those tickets. Thanks, Coach. Best of luck tomorrow night.
Thanks so much, Jess.
Woodhouse Auto Family is your trusted auto partner with 20 brands and 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. All right, stick around. We've got another hour of Sports Nightly coming up next. Greg Sharpe will join me for the first segment. Keep it here on our Huskers Radio Network.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska exists to be there with you. From the first bell to final exams, they are rooting for the schools and teachers who make our communities great. Throughout the year, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska and Nebraska Athletics will be honoring outstanding educators who help Nebraska's students reach their potential. If there's a teacher you want to recognize for the impact they've made in your community, find a nomination form at huskers.com/teachers.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to thank our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks, foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
Get ready to rule the field and revolutionize your farming game with Valley, the game changer in irrigation and ag tech solutions. With time and labor-saving measures, ground truthing results, and effective input reduction, Valley provides the perfect game plan so you stay ahead of what's in the field. From the best in irrigation and cutting-edge ag tech solutions to personalized support, Valley is your winning team. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
Good evening, I'm Camden Cohn, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the 1890 Initiative. Late last night, the Nebraska men's basketball team shocked the college basketball world as they defeated the #1 Purdue Boilermakers by a score of 88-72. The Huskers shot 60% from behind the arc and were led by Keisei Tominaga's 19 points. Rink Mast added 18, CJ Wiltshire had 16 off the bench, and Jawan Gary had 12 in the win. It was Nebraska's first win over a #1 ranked team in 41 years. In other Husker news, the Nebraska bowling team finished second at a loaded tournament in Las Vegas today. The Huskers beat 8th-ranked Duquesne, then #2 Vanderbilt, before falling in the championship round to #1 Jacksonville State, 4-3. In national news, legendary Alabama football head coach Nick Saban has retired after 17 seasons with the Crimson Tide. Saban's Bama teams won 9 conference titles and 6 national championships. Alabama reached the college football playoff in 8 of the 10 seasons of the CFP era. And in the NFL, Pete Carroll is out as head coach of the Seattle Seahawks after 14 seasons. Carroll is the winningest coach in Seahawks history and brought the city its first Super Bowl title. It is unknown if he will pursue other coaching jobs. Our sports ticker is sponsored by the 1890 Initiative. You want to support Husker student athletes through name, image, and likeness? If so, visit 1890nebraska.com. Hour 2 of Sports Nightly up next, right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Huskers ball, high right side. Mast shoots up another 3. Got it! He's 3 for 3. Rink Mast.
She will reset with 12 on the shot clock. Once the screen gets it from Markowski to the right elbow, back out top. Markowski will shoot a 3. You betcha! Ties the game. A 3-pointer by Markowski off the assist from Hayden.
Lawrence with the ball. Cross court, mid court to Tominaga. Shoots up a 30-footer. Got it! Bang! Bang! A ring! Tominaga with a 3.
Goes off the bounce, goes behind her back, works foul line. Potts for 3, top of the key. You betcha! Natalie Potts, the Big Ten Freshman of the Week, with a triple.
Ball knocked free, out of bounds, saved by Alec, clips it into Boogie, down the floor. Here comes a dunk by Jawan, hammers it home with the right hand. The net gets caught up on the rim.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody, on the Huskers Radio Network.
Good evening, welcome back. Kent Pavelka with Jake Muehlheisen from Pinnacle Bank Arena in Lincoln, where the Huskers tonight take on the University of Purdue.
It's Williams, a drop step, reverse layup with a left hand, and Mast is just dissecting Edey early in this game. Huskers down 25-22. Tominaga shoots up a 3 ball. Got it! Tie ball game! The trio, another CVA 3, ties it at 25. Jawan Gary driving the ball against Edey, puts it up and in, and one. Jawan Gary with his first field goal, and Nebraska's back to within 1 point at 28-27. Mast hands it off to Hoiberg, coming right to left, faces up, throws back to Tominaga, got a good look on the way, got it! Got it! The net hangs up on the rim, it was so pure. 3 ball, another CVA 3. Keisei gives Nebraska the lead. Williams right to left in the midcourt. Smith pressuring him out there. 1-4 look. Here comes Keisei from a double stagger. Puts it up on the way. Got it! Got it! Got it! Got it! 34-30, Nebraska by 4. Keisei Tominaga. Intercepted pass, Hoiberg. The other way. Plays it up and in off the window. Sammy Hoiberg. How about those Huskers? How about the Huskers? Here's Mast with the ball. Coming to it, Tominaga. Gives her on the hash mark. Hoiberg drives the ball. Reverse layup with the left hand. Oh, my goodness. Circus shot. Absolutely. Circus shot by Sammy Hoiberg. What a game by Hoiberg. Husk 4-11. 41-30. Oh, here's Alec. Hands it off to Wiltshire. 3 ball. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Huskers with their biggest lead. 65-52. Jones attacks the rim. Shot blocked. Retrieved by Williams. Oh, what a block. Wow. High post to Alec. He's got Tominaga coming to it. Heights chasing him, fires, and scores it. Unbelievable. Unbelievable 3 by Keisei Tominaga. And the Huskers are going to go to 13-3 on the year and to 3-2 in the conference. And you hear the Go Big Red chant.
Get this ball in bounds. Let this crowd storm the floor, baby.
Gillis into Braden Smith. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And for the first time in 41 years, Nebraska knocks off the top-ranked team in the country, and they are storming the floor. They are storming the floor. They are storming the floor.
Love it.
Sign your name, Fred Hoiberg. There's your signature win.
They're partying here in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Wow, wow, wow. What a night. That was unbelievable, magical, should I say. For only the 4th time in school history, Nebraska has beaten a #1 ranked team. What a night, huh?
Oh, my gosh. That was incredible. I went. I was so glad that I was there, and just the celebration and to see. There were so many different things that I tried to take in, but just to, see the team, obviously, the crowd rushing the court, but I was sitting next to the tunnel when it was kind of unfolding, but to see Trev Alberts and Coach Rule and how excited they were for this team, and they, rushed the court when everybody rushed out there. But then to see a guy like Derek Walker, who was sitting up in the stands, who came down, was hugging everybody, was celebrating like he had won the game, and in a way he did, because of all the things that he did to help lay the foundation for this team. He's been a big part of the culture that's in place now. He helped with some of those young guys or some of the guys that were on the team last year. He helped kind of show them how a team should be ran chemistry-wise, him and those other older guys. It just all around just a special night, and that was a team effort, and they did so many things well, and man, shocked the world. You said it, let's shock the world. They shocked the world, I think.
Sure did. And, it was only the first time since '82 that Nebraska's beaten the team ranked #1. Now, you don't play #1s every year. I get that. But you go back to the Big 8, Big 12 days. Kansas certainly was #1 a few times. It was only the second time since Nebraska joined the Big 10 that they played a #1 ranked team. Indiana, they played at one point in time. They were ranked #1. But the first time since '64 to do it in Lincoln. I mean, that's 64. That's like over 60 years ago.
Yeah, unbelievable. It's just, you don't get a chance. And it's kind of what we were talking about leading into the matchup. Yes, Purdue is a really good team, but how often do teams get a chance to play the #1 team in the country? How many times do you get that opportunity? Whatever sport it might be, you just don't always get that chance. And so here's an opportunity to knock off the #1 team in the country, and boy, did they relish it. And because it just doesn't come around that often. And this team took full advantage of that opportunity.
Jessica, last night we talked about, is Bryce going to be able to go? And dumb old me, I'm like, well, maybe you just don't even play him. You save him for He almost had a triple-double in the game last night.
He did so many good things. And I talked to a few of the guys. We'll hear from them coming up here in just a little bit. But, just how all of them were saying it took – throughout that course of that game, there were so many guys that made key plays. And how many times we have that conversation when whatever team it might be, it takes everybody doing their job and doing their role at any given time of the game. How Rink Mass started the game. Boy, he was just unstoppable. But then think about Sam Hoiberg. He has a couple of the big steals. He hits a big 3. Keisei Tominaga hits some big shots. And then Bryce Williams does what he does. Jawan Gary, I mean, it just... C.J. Wilcher knocked down some big shots. It just takes everybody to knock off, to accomplish the feat that they did last night. It takes everybody, and everybody stepped up and contributed however they needed to.
A court storming. Those are always fun, right?
Yes.
I mean, it was on SportsCenter. It was all over the place. I mean, and Coach Hoiberg said, hey, you got to enjoy these. These don't come along that often. Go enjoy this. I love the fact, you're up at up 11.5, and you knew Purdue would probably make a run. And they did. They made a big run at Nebraska, and yet the Huskers answered that every time. To me, that says a lot about how mature this group is.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, more impressive than anything else was the way that they withstood those runs that Purdue had, because that shows you what a team is made of, how they can respond and punch back when a team, because They're going to do that. I mean, Purdue's too good of a shooting team. They've got too many. There's a reason why they're the number one team in the country. And so for the way that they responded when Purdue started responding, to me, really showed the character of this team, how good they could be. You've got to be able to do that. You've got to be able to withstand those runs because that's the game of basketball. But also in the Big Ten, when you are playing these teams that have the capabilities of doing that, you got to be able to withstand that. And that was one of the more impressive things, I think, was when Purdue starts coming back, you're like, uh-oh. But they found a way to, shut that down and get back in charge of things. But even though Purdue made those runs, it still felt like Nebraska really had control of that game from start to finish, which was really impressive as well.
You mentioned somebody did something a little bit here, a little bit there. I thought one of the key plays, Purdue had closed to within 150, and Josiah Alec hits a 3.
Yeah.
He's only made like 4 all year. What a huge shot, because all of a sudden then it goes to 4. Then Nebraska got a steal and a layup, and it's 6, and it ended up getting to 10. They had to call a timeout. But Alec, who doesn't make many shots, he's not counted on to be a big scorer. That was gigantic.
Yeah, it's probably one of those ones where, and he was wide open in the corner. I remember it. It was a key play, but it's one of those things where you're like, no, yes, just because of that, because he's just not one, and he's capable of knocking down threes, even though he hasn't done it very often. He I think looks to go inside, get other guys involved. That's not a huge part of his game, and so in a key moment like that, I think my mind was initially like, oh no, that's not the shot you want, or not who you want taking that shot. But then he knocks it down and proves me wrong. I'm like, okay, yep. Yes, sir, you take that shot. But, he just stepped up with confidence and knowing that, hey, I'm open, let me knock this down, and that's what he did. That's a veteran player right there.
Absolutely.
You know, there's a lot of those guys, and being able to step into that moment when it was there, that's Josiah Alec. That's a veteran guy that's played a lot of basketball right there.
13-3. How about that? What a record, right?
Yeah.
I mean.
And just some wins that it's one thing to maybe look at that record and think, oh, well, who have they played? Well, they've beat some pretty good teams, and Michigan State is coming along. Indiana is a great team. Then you just knock off Purdue. There are some really good wins.
There are.
Kansas State.
Yep.
And so as much as maybe some of the other games in the non-conference might not help the resume per se, I think it helped them build some confidence and figure some things out, work some things out to where they were able to put some things together against these big teams. Now, hey, far from being done, right? And that's what a lot of these guys told me last night is, that's a big win, but the season's not over. They've got to keep putting together wins because they are still on the verge of being on that bubble.
Right.
Just because you beat a number one team in the country doesn't automatically put you to where you want to go in the postseason. You got to keep putting together some wins, protect the home court, and they got to find a way to put some things together like they did, like they have done at home on the road. You have to steal some games on the road, and so they've got to find a way to do that out of the friendly confines of PBA. I
kidded Coach Hoiberg today. I says, oh, you're done with the hard stretch, and he rolled his eyes at me. But you're right. The committee likes to show – you have to show the committee you can win games away from your gym because the tournament's not at PBA. It's going to be other places. They have the one road win at K-State. That's big, but you're right. And the next two are on the road. Iowa City on Friday against the Hawkeyes. Then they go to Piscataway next week to play Rutgers, so the next two are away. I do want to spend a minute here on the atmosphere last night. The students still aren't here.
No.
And yet that place was electric. It was on fire. And kudos to everybody that was there. And you could tell that crowd, I think, sensed it pretty early on. We may be in for a special night, and they rose to the occasion.
That's the importance of having a good start and giving a reason for a crowd to get involved. It does not even matter what the sport is, what the team is. That is the perfect example of why you want to get a crowd involved early, because they absolutely played a huge part in this. And we've heard Coach Hoiberg say that from the start. And even I've sat here and talked to the assistant coaches on the coaches show, and they've mentioned that. We've got to give them a reason to cheer.
Right.
You've got to give a reason to get them involved early, and this team did that. But, yeah, they were absolutely a huge part. And then I thought it was cool, too, again, when you knock off the number one team in the country, you get some attention across the country. But what I thought was cool was that a lot of these analysts or people that are involved in basketball, college basketball across the country were commenting about how great the atmosphere is in PBA. And when it's rocking, it's one of the best in the country. And so that's where it absolutely plays a huge role in them protecting the home court, and the crowd was involved. I mean, it was awesome. It was electric. And then just to be able to have them rewarded to rush the court. How many times do people get to be involved in a court storming? I mean, I've been doing this a long time. That was my second in my entire career. And so it just doesn't happen very often. And if the fuddy-duddies that say that needs to go away, I'm not buying it. It's a big part of sports. And when your team's doing it, you're not complaining about it. And you just got to be able to enjoy those moments. It's just, that's the beauty of the sport, of the game, is being able to do that when you pull off something that nobody else believed you could, except for the fans in that building that were helping you be a part of it. It just, to me, I don't love that take. The Purdue coach I know was saying it's dangerous, but if it was Purdue that knocked off a big team, I'm sure he would be welcoming it.
I don't think he is against it. I think he just says we need to get more security and get the teams off, get our team off, make sure Nebraska's safe.
Okay.
I don't think he goes, I want the Nebraska fans to be able to run. That's great. That's part of the college experience.
See, I didn't hear the quote. I didn't hear the quote word for word, but I just had a couple people text me about it, and so yes, that makes more sense.
And he's not wrong.
Yeah.
He goes, we got to make sure the score table people, because some of them, they're a little older, like me, so they don't get run over, people jumping over the table. So I don't think he's wrong, but I think that's what's the beautiful thing about college basketball is court storming. I think it's wonderful.
Yes.
That happens.
One of the things you could do is take them out through the other tunnel. The problem is with PBA is that the opposing teams have to walk across.
Right.
They're on the opposite tunnel.
But they could sneak about that. They can loop around.
Yeah, and loop around. Yeah. It would have been a lot better probably to do that. But
well, it was fantastic. Everybody that was there, kudos to you. You played a part in that one last night. And you saw history. The first win by Nebraska in Lincoln over a #1 team since 1964. Amazing stuff. All right, here's what we have coming up on the program in this hour. Chris Kabourek, who is the new interim president at Nebraska. Ted Carter's tenure is over. Chris is the interim president. He does not want to be the full-time president, but he's going to be here and join us and talk about his vision in his interim term of running the university. And Jess will also have some post-game reaction from that terrific win last night at PBA. I'm actually in Omaha getting ready to MC the Outland Trophy dinner tonight, where Trevonde Sweat from Texas is the new Outland Trophy winner, and also some Cornhuskers are being honored, the senior award winners for Nebraska football up there tonight. So Jess will take you the rest of the way this hour. More Sports Nightly and the interim president coming up next.
That's the best way I could describe how it felt for me when I would walk out of either the casino or the Keno parlor, is that you just felt that wave of heat, that wave of oppression kind of hit you, that wave of dread.
Mike is a former problem gambler.
Right away, you would always know that drive home would be the worst moments of why. Why did I do this again? Why can't I stop this?
Help for problem gambling is free for Nebraskans and their families at lifeafterbet.com.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. Let's create yours with a built Ford Tough truck. Ford F-150 with impressive max towing capability and available Pro Trailer Backup Assist. So navigating tight spaces is as easy as turning a knob. Plus, with available Pro Power on board, you have power on demand. Be future ready with Ford F-150.
Now get 2.9% financing for 72 months on a new 2023 Ford F-150. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Hey, Mom. Yeah, I got in a crash. I'm okay. I was wearing my seatbelt.
People count on you to buckle up. Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Get ready again for some Nebraska farm facts. When there's work to be done, Nebraska soybeans are on the job in many of your everyday products. In fact, Nebraska soybeans are hard at work in Goodyear tires, Ford cars and trucks, Skechers shoes, asphalt, fuels, lubricants, name brand paints and stains, and more. Soybeans are an innovative replacement for petroleum, leading to more sustainable products all over the world. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska exists to be there with you. From the first bell to final exams, they are rooting for the schools and teachers who make our communities great. Throughout the year, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska and Nebraska Athletics will be honoring outstanding educators who help Nebraska's students reach their potential. If there's a teacher you want to recognize for the impact they've made in your community, find a nomination form at huskers.com/teachers.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to thank our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks, foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
For farmers, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. At Valley, we feel the same, delivering game-changing technology and irrigation solutions that advance agricultural productivity, with the results to prove it. From our leading irrigation technology to expert advice, you can always rely on Valley to bring out the best in your farm. At Valley, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
Woodhouse Buick is bringing you more for the new year. With every new Buick purchase from Woodhouse, we're including 3 years of scheduled maintenance. Plus, with our current lease offers going on now, you'll save even more. Lease a 2023 Buick Envision Preferred for $399 a month for 39 months, 10,000 miles per year. With approved credit, $2,891 down payment and first payment and $299 doc fee due at signing. Must have GM Lease Loyalty or Lease Conquest to qualify. Offer expires January 31st, 2024. See dealer for details.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. As we welcome you back to Sports Nightly, it's a new year, and with the departure of Ted Carter to Ohio State, we have a new leader at the University of Nebraska, Chris Kabourek, and we'll be catching up with him bi-weekly and catching up on all the things, all the latest that's going on across the university. President Kabourek, welcome. Thank you for being here. What a win last night. I know first and foremost, we got to talk about that big win against Purdue for the men's basketball team.
Wow. Well, first, thanks for having me. And as I was driving in, I was listening to the highlights that you were playing with Kent, and I was getting goosebumps again. You know, I was at the game, and it was electric, and so happy for those student athletes in the basketball program. What a wonderful, I'm a sports junkie, and so super, super proud of them and how they competed. And I heard you talk about it was a complete team win. Somebody stepped up and picked each other up, and that was so fun to watch. So, yeah, go Big Red, how exciting that was.
And you're invested in all the Husker sports, right? And pay close attention to all the happenings.
It's funny because I was just talking to Trev this morning about what incredible momentum we have. You go back to the fall, and obviously with the volleyball team and the soccer program, but yeah, not just men's basketball. But I heard Coach Williams earlier on the show, and what an incredible group of young women we have competing on that team, and wrestling. I mean, I'm excited to go watch them compete this weekend, and so. Man, it's a great time to be a Husker fan, and we can't thank all Husker Nation so much for their support, not only just for athletics, but what they do for across the university.
Well, you've been on the job since January 1st. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and what they need to know and get to know you a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would just say I'm pretty much like probably your average listener. I'm a native of David City, Nebraska. First in my family go to college, and bleed Husker red, but also support all of our athletic programs, even at UNO and UNK. But I love the state. I have had the opportunity to work in Omaha and now Lincoln, and my roots being in rural Nebraska. What a humbling opportunity. If you would have told me as a kid growing up in Davis City that you one day would have this opportunity to serve in this role, I would have said you're crazy. So, it's a tremendous opportunity, and hopefully it can inspire some young people out there to think about, well, I'm not sure I can ever achieve that dream. Let me tell you, do the Nebraska way, roll your sleeves up, work hard. The University of Nebraska will help you get there.
That's incredible. Well, so we just talked about you're a sports junkie, but you also have been a coach, you're an official. We were talking during the break about officiating. But how does that help you as a president and just inform your approach to that role as president?
Yeah, sports have always been an important part of my life. I just love to compete. And, I mean, that was maybe what just makes me proud to watch everything going on at Husker, all of our athletic programs and how they compete. And so I moonlight in the winters as a basketball official at the high school and college level, small college level. And I've told a lot of people what a tremendous training ground. You might not think about it, but a basketball game is nothing more than conflict management. And that helps me as a leader a lot in terms of dealing with people that have opinions or disagreements on what university is doing. But more than anything, it just allows, it's been an incredible opportunity to, crisscross the state. I've probably been in almost every small gym across the state. And the one thing I've learned about is, the people in Nebraska are incredible. We don't take a backseat to anyone. They want to compete, and not only on the athletic field, the volleyball court or the basketball court, but we need to do that in the classroom and in the research labs as well. So it's been a tremendous training ground, and it's been a lot of fun as well.
Well, the search is underway for the new permanent president. As you lead during the search process, what are your goals for the interim presidency?
Yeah, well, I think my goal is mostly to give the Board of Regents the time and space they need to do the search to make sure we're competing and bringing the very best person to be the next president. So kind of keeping the railroad running smoothly is goal number one. But as I told the board, I don't intend to be a caretaker in the interim. We need to continue to push forward. We need to go compete in the Big Ten, in the AAU, and all those things. And so the great news is that President Carter, while very sad to see him leave, has left us a great plan going forward. And so our job is to implement that plan as much as we can. And in a nutshell, I know we're using this word quite a bit, but the plan is nothing more than to go compete. We talk about, we've been public about our desire to get back into the American Association of Universities, the AAU, and a lot of people ask me, what does that mean? And for me, what it means, or when I go talk to people maybe outside the university, the board has made a public declaration that we're going to go compete across the board. Obviously, we talked about athletics a lot, but we're going to go compete in the classroom. We're going to go compete in the research lab, because when we're competing with the best of the best, that benefits all Nebraska. It benefits our students. It allows us to go attract more talented faculty and research grants. I'm a big believer it lifts all boats. And so that's what I get up every day thinking about. We're going to roll our sleeves up, use a lot of common sense, go work real hard, and go compete for Nebraska.
Yeah, so I guess a little bit more on that. I know you're focused on excellence. Can you tell us what that means, not just for athletics, but also academics?
Like I said, Nebraskans, we're Nebraska-nice, but that doesn't mean we're going to take a backseat to anyone. So we want to win, and I know that's true of Nebraska across the board. And so my job is really to reconnect with Nebraskans to deliver that message. And it doesn't mean we're always going to agree on everything, but if we can get aligned that there are so much opportunity, there's such an incredible state because of the incredible people that we have, I think we can get aligned to say, yep, we're going to go compete. We're going to give it the best we can, because the one guarantee I know from sports, you know, if you don't set uncommonly high expectations, you are guaranteed to fail. So I'm proud that the board, that the administration, that the athletic department, our coaches, our student athletes have made that commitment to go be the best of the best. And because, as long as we're working towards that, nobody can call us a failure.
Well, any other final words for Husker Nation or those listening in?
Just again, I can't again thank our fans so much. I bleed Husker red. I remember listening to Kent Pavelka on the radio as a little kid call football games, and so that kind of dedication you just don't see across the country. It truly is unique in terms when I talk to our Big Ten colleagues. So thank you for Husker Nation. We're going to roll up our sleeves every day, go work real hard, and make them proud. We're going to go compete.
Thank you so much for your time, and we're looking forward to you leading us through here. And again, appreciate you stopping by the studio.
Thank you, Jessica. Go Big Red.
And that is Interim President Chris Kabourek for the University of Nebraska. We're going to step aside here on Sports Nightly. Much more of the show coming up.
Don't miss out on limited time appliance deals during the closeout event at Lowe's. Get up to 35% off select major appliances. Plus, save an extra $100 when you spend $999 or more on all major appliances. Hurry, these deals are too good to last long. Shop in-store or online today, because Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid 1/4 through 1/24. Selection varies by location while supplies last. See Lowe's.com for details.
Get ready to rule the field and revolutionize your farming game with Valley, the game changer in irrigation and ag tech solutions. With time and labor-saving measures, ground truthing results, and effective input reduction, Valley provides the perfect game plan so you stay ahead of what's in the field. From the best in irrigation and cutting-edge ag tech solutions to personalized support, Valley is your winning team. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers, you ready for some SUV action? Toyota SUVs can roll their sleeves up for tight turns and twisty trails, dress up for a night out on the town, or head to the great outdoors. Take your family adventure game to a whole new level with the roomy Highlander. Make a serious splash with the rugged, revved-up RAV4. And tow all your toys in the spacious new Sequoia. Don't forget the trail-taming 4Runner and the sleek Venza Hybrid. All Toyota SUVs feature a whole suite of creature comforts to keep you and yours cozy in the cabin. Check out this legendary lineup at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
For farmers, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. And at Valley, we feel the same, delivering game-changing technology and irrigation solutions that advance agricultural productivity, with the results to prove it. From our leading irrigation technology to expert advice, you can always rely on Valley to bring out the best in your farm. At Valley, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. Let's create yours with a built Ford Tough truck. Ford F-150 with impressive max towing capability and available Pro Trailer Backup Assist. So navigating tight spaces is as easy as turning a knob. Plus, with available Pro Power on board, you have power on demand. Be future ready with Ford F-150.
Now get 2.9% financing for 72 months on a new 2023 Ford F-150. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
It's time for some Nebraska farm facts. Want to know a fast way to rev up our Nebraska economy while helping the planet? It's right in your tank. When you fill up with clean soy-based biodiesel, you're increasing Nebraska biodiesel production while reducing greenhouse gases by up to 74%. So look for biodiesel where you fill up. It benefits our air, our economy, and our farmers. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Nodal Companies is proud to support Husker Athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunny's at Exarban, and row house townhomes on Leavenworth. Nodal Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Nodal Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska exists to be there with you. From the first bell to final exams, they are rooting for the schools and teachers who make our communities great. Throughout the year, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska and Nebraska Athletics will be honoring outstanding educators who help Nebraska's students reach their potential. If there's a teacher you want to recognize for the impact they've made in your community, find a nomination form at huskers.com/teachers. If problem gambling is burning up your money, there is a way out. Help is free and confidential for Nebraskans and their families. There's no judgment, just help. Visit lifeafterbet.com. Welcome back to Sports Nightly. Got a couple texts I wanted to get to on the text line. John in Omaha said, so thrilled for the men's program and the huge win over Purdue, and so thankful that we have a coach that handles huge wins as well as he does tough losses with total class. Congrats to Coach Hoiberg and the Huskers. John in Omaha. Jim in Columbus said, want to give a huge shout out to the men's basketball team players and coaches. What a great game I listened to. Also, a huge shout out to Kent and Jake for the breathtaking game that they called, one of the best announced by both of them. Kent especially glad he called the game that he waited for 40 years for. Excited for Kent, as for myself and all the other Nebraska fans. Great job, Kent and Jake. He said, I'm a few years older than Kent. Don't know how many more games I can take like that, but if Kent keeps broadcasting, I'll keep listening. GBRL, he'll appreciate that. And yeah, we joked that we were hoping that Jake was going to monitor Kent's blood pressure because there was a game last year that his watch started going off. Cole, were you on that game?
I think it was the Penn State game.
Yeah,
when we were on the road at Penn State last year.
His watch started beeping because his heart rate was too high.
Yes.
And so it's kind of been a joke. But yeah, so cool that for Jake and Kent, especially Kent, to get to call a game like that. And Rudy actually added to that. Listening to Kent call that game had me in tears. The game in '64, I was at every game in the Coliseum except the Michigan game. I was ill, but listened to the late Bob Zinner call that win, and the incredible Fred Hare made the winning basket. So really cool, and we will pass those along to Kent. And hoping to have Jake on the show on Friday, so we'll be able to maybe go back and hear, because I know that they enjoyed it, had a lot of fun. But we're not done talking men's basketball and that win over Purdue. I had a chance to catch up with a couple of players after the game, and we start with Jawan Gary, and yeah, just what this win meant to him and for this team. All right, well, how much fun was that? The crowd rushes the court to knock off number one. Just overall, what was the feeling of that whole thing at the end of when the buzzer goes off?
It was a big one, man. That's something we always been working for since the summer. This is what we're looking up to. You know, Coach always said playing number one team is the biggest thing ever in college basketball, and knocking them off was the greatest win ever we ever had this year. We did it. What we did in Wisconsin, you know, we pushed that back. We came in practice the next day prepared for Purdue, and we came out with a W for sure. But it was a big win for sure.
What went into the start? You guys kind of really from the start seemed to set the tone, establish yourself, especially Rink, and the way that he was able to contribute offensively. Like, what went into the start?
Coach always he emphasized that Purdue is a team that jumped on the team very early. You know, watching the Illinois game, you know, some of the other games they played, they jumped on the team 26-14, 26-7. So we knew we had to go out there with a chip on my shoulder and play this game. They always play, so that's what we did. We gave the ball to Rink, and we kept going, and I love that guy, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. Hey, he had a big game. I'm very proud of him for sure.
When they were fighting back and made it close there, what were the messages? What enabled you guys to kind of withstand that run and continue to build and regain the lead and close this one out?
This game of basketball. Number one team, they never going to lay down. We was up 11 at halftime, but we knew they wasn't going to lay down and just give the game to us. But we stayed poised, we stayed composure. And like I said, this is what we work for. This is what we practice every day for. All the hard workouts, all the hard practice we do, this is the moments we always work for, and we came on top today, for sure.
This team seems like such a close-knit team, and it seems like at any given moment, you guys all contributed, make big plays. How big of a role is that into what this team is able to do, and that you guys all step up at any given moment and you all embrace whose role it is at any given moment?
That's just the culture. The culture we got. We believe every single body on this team, from walk-on to starting five, everybody that's up on that court today contributes to this W. I'm proud of everybody. I'm proud of how everybody contributed to practice everything we did today, and I can't be more proud of this team today, for sure.
How electrifying is Keisei Tominaga and some of the shots that he knocks down for a basketball team?
Man, watching him, just being a teammate of him, it's fun. I know the crowd, see all the threes, going in, how he play, all the excitement he play, but that's just one confidence dude that you got to love, and I'm just love the game he always play.
Your role and just what you've been able to do, whether it's scoring, rebounding, defense, how much do you embrace what you need to do for this team any given night?
That's just who I am. I'm an older guy, I'm a guy who been here last year, know the game of basketball, know the game that we played last year. So I think a lot of guys look towards me as a leader, and I think myself as a leader too. So it's going out there. I got to do whatever I got to do to get this W for sure. Whether, like you said, rebounding, scoring, whatever. But I'm going to contribute to a win, and if the team needs me, I'm going to get what the team needs.
How important is it for you guys? How much emphasis is it to protect the home court like you guys just did tonight?
It's like your house. You want nobody bringing your house and, steal your thing. So that's what we did today, protect our home court and just keep it going, that's for sure.
Not done, though, right? I mean, you beat the number one team, but it's far from over, right?
Mm-hmm. Coach already told us, enjoy this win, but we got to get back to the lab tomorrow. We got a big game this weekend against Iowa. We prepare for that one, for sure.
Appreciate it, Jawan. Great win.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, that was Jawan Gary, finished with 12 points, 5 rebounds, 2 steals, and a block. And as Greg and I were talking about it, just at any given moment throughout that course of that game, it was different players that delivered in the big moments. I mean, you go back to Sam Hoiberg, and he has a steal and then knocks down a big 3, and CJ Wilcher got hot from 3 and knocked down some really big buckets, and yeah, you can go, the list goes on and on and on. But Keisei Tominaga led the team with 19 points. He was 5 for 9 from 3-point, and he sure knows how to ignite a crowd. But I got a chance to catch up with Keisei after the game. Here with our Old Dominion best in the game interview, Keisei Tominaga. Well, how much fun was that one to share with this team?
Yeah, that was so much fun, I never had an experience like that, after the game, everybody came onto the court, that was so much fun. Yeah, that was so much fun, yeah.
You love the atmosphere, so how much fun was it to get to share it with the fans, rushing the court and that atmosphere?
I couldn't wait, last 2 minutes, I couldn't wait for the moment, So I just, so excited, my coach was like, calm down, we gotta finish our game fast, so yeah, that was super fun, yeah.
You made some big buckets, but Rink Mast, how big was he to start this game for you guys?
He helped us so much in everything on the defensive, offense, everything, on the court. He helps us a lot, yeah.
It seemed like everybody contributed in some way, whatever it might be throughout the game. How important was the team effort, the total team effort tonight?
That was a team. I think that was team win. Everybody, I think everybody did it on job. Yes, CJ hit the 3. Bryce, defensively, a rebound, everything, he was, terrific. So, it was, team win. I think it was team win, yeah. It was a great team win.
You and CJ seem to really feed off of each other. How much do you enjoy playing alongside him to see what he does and then vice versa?
It's so much fun playing with him, when he hit the 3, I get so excited, It's so much fun to play with him,
How much do you love playing here inside Pinnacle Bank Arena?
Oh my God, I don't even know how to explain, it's so much fun, yeah, it is super fun,
Why did you guys believe you could get this done here tonight?
We trust each other, we lost against Wisconsin, very bad, but, we still trust each other, we can, I know, we trust we could beat, Purdue too, so I think it's not even a surprise for us, yeah.
So how important is it to not dwell on this, to close the chapter, move forward? So a long way to go, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we got a game coming up, in 2 days against Iowa, over there. So we gotta have fun this moment, but we gotta get back on the practice tomorrow and then be ready for the next game. Yeah.
And to have your parents here, the last home game, Indiana, how special was that for you to have the game that you had and to get to experience that with them?
Yeah, it was so fun. You know, I hung out with them a lot. You know, I took them to my favorite restaurant here. You know, everywhere I do. You know, because I've been here for like 3 years right now. So it was so much fun to they can watch the game. They could watch the game, especially my sister for first time came to the United States. So it was super fun to hang out with them. Yeah.
How much do they like Lincoln and PBA?
They love it. They love it a lot. Yeah, they they love it. They're like, they told me it's crazy that you play like this arena every game. Yeah, it's.
Appreciate it, Keisei. Great win.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks so much.
I should have asked him. I forgot to ask him. I'll have to follow up. What his favorite? He said he took his parents to his favorite place to eat in Lincoln. I'll have to follow up on that and see what that is. We had another text on the text line. If only Kent, and this is from Carla, one of our favorite texters, if only Kent would display a little more emotion when he calls a Husker basketball game. What a tremendous and memorable game. Way to go, gentlemen. A total team effort. Thanks, Carla. Yeah, that was spot on. And yeah, Kent, he needs to amp it up a little bit, right? I mean, sometimes he doesn't have all the energy, I think. So we're going to have to let him know that he needs to bring a little bit more emotion to that one. But just going back to the stats and everything that went into the win, you can look at the three-pointers. But one thing that this team has done really a lot throughout the season and being able to call some games and cover this team is they had 9 turnovers and 22 assists. And the 22 assists is really big. I think this team does such a great job of sharing the basketball, passing, making the extra pass. There was one of the plays that stick out in my mind is Keisei could have had a look. He doesn't need much space to shoot it. He gave up his look to give Sam Hoiberg a wide open look that he ended up knocking down. And, it's such an unselfish team. And you hear him talk about it, and it's real. And you can see it developing throughout the course of a season. But we talk a lot about assists, but I love that number. I had 22 assists, and it was everybody. I mean, Bryce Williams finished with 9 assists, but a lot of guys got in on the passing of the basketball, and I always love that when you see that in the final box score. But congratulations again to this team. They've been so much fun, and they're just getting going. You just heard both those guys say that. A number of the guys we talked to afterward, hey, it's not over yet. Just because we had this big win here, we got lots and lots of work left to do. So they will put it in the rearview mirror and move forward. They got a big one coming up at Iowa on Friday night. So, and again, we will have the call for you on that one here. If you want to listen to more of Kent and Jake, we got it for you right here on the Huskers Radio Network coming up on Friday night. All right, got to work in our final break, and we'll get to our final segment here on Sports Nightly on this Wednesday night.
There's no community like a Cenex community. And that's why every Cenex store is so proud to serve theirs by supporting local athletic teams, promoting the arts, and making sure each store is a place its neighbors can find what they need, catch up with their friends, and stay connected. It's also why we give back, helping to make the wonderful places we call home the best they can be. Your local Cenex doesn't just work in your town, it lives there. The store next door, powered locally at Cenex.
It's time for another round of Nebraska Farm Facts. If there's one thing Nebraska's known for, it's our beef. And Nebraska soybeans feed a lot of them, and even more pigs and chickens. Farmers and ranchers raise livestock and poultry to provide nutritious, affordable protein for all ages to help build muscle and maintain energy for a healthy lifestyle. Keep that in mind as you prepare all that tasty meat on your tailgate grill. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Want to get all the latest Husker news straight to your phone? Need to be the first of your friends to get the scoop on all things Huskers? Sign up for text alerts from Nebraska Athletics. Text Huskers to 83200 to get game time notifications and updates, breaking news, special ticket offers, and more straight to your phone. All the Husker news is just a quick text away. Just text Huskers to 83200. Standard text messaging rates may apply and may vary by carrier.
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Nottle Companies is proud to support Husker Athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunnyside-Exarban, and row house townhomes on Leavenworth. Nottle Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Nottle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
Maybe your hometown celebrates long-standing Swiss traditions. Cow chip throwing. Or even classic car muscle. Everyone has a hometown, and every hometown has a festival. Cenex wants to hear about yours. That's why we're launching the Hometown Throwdown. Tell us about your fest, and it could win $100,000. Learn more at CenexHometownThrowdown.com. Cenex, powered locally.
Woodhouse Auto Family is your trusted auto partner with 20 brands and 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. Just got a couple more minutes left here in hour number 2 of Sports Nightly. Did want to get to some football news. It would appear that the Huskers are adding some depth to the offensive line room. We talk a lot about how it's not really often that you can get a portal guy with a lot of experience that's an offensive lineman, but the Huskers are going to do just that. Micah Mazuka posted on his social media that he will be playing his final year of eligibility at Nebraska. He's a transfer from Florida. He started at right guard for every game but one for the Gators, 743 snaps. He's a fifth-year senior. He played previously at Baylor. So from 2020 to 2022, he was at Baylor. And in 2022, he played in 11 games with 10 starts, and he graded out as the second best guard in the Big 12, according to Pro Football Focus, and his run blocking grade was the best in the conference. His brother, Maurice, is a walk-on running back out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And out of high school, he had actually committed to Michigan and then decommitted and flipped his commitment to Baylor. And, of course, this coaching staff does have some ties to that Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area. But he was in the same recruiting class as Blake Corum and went to the same high school as Blake, St. Francis Academy. So originally was committed to Michigan there with Blake Corum and then flipped to Baylor. But always big to get some depth there at the offensive line, especially at guard. The Huskers lost some guys that had been staples at that guard position, Nuri Nwili, Ethan Piper, both out. So you never can have enough experience and depth there in that offensive line room. All right, Cole, you had an announcement you wanted to let everybody know about.
I did. While we've been on the air tonight, the Husker Men's Basketball X account tweeted out like one of their cinematic recaps, and it's got, I think it was, who was it? Sam Rice, kind of who was producing it.
Yeah.
But it's got KP and Jake's calls all over, nicely shot stuff from last night. So after we're done, go check that out.
Yeah, awesome. How was it for you being a part on this end of it on the booth with Kent and Jake calling that game?
It was great. And basically, during every break, it's just Jake trying to calm Kent down, just going, "It's all right, Kenny. It's all right." So it was electric.
And then after the game, how were they? Kent didn't even show up for some of the post game, right? Because
he was taking pictures with fans, and he was maybe crowd surfing. I don't know, but yeah, it was a good post game. Everybody was happy.
Yeah, just overall, just for Kent and Jake to be able to call that game, but everybody to get to be a part of it. It was really special. Just kind of be standing down there in the tunnel and get to take it all in. I'm sad, Cole, you couldn't rush the court, but I'm glad you got to experience it on this end.
It's one way to experience it. Yeah.
All right, well, we'll look forward to hearing from those guys again coming up Friday night again. They'll have the call for you on the Huskers Radio Network. Coming up tomorrow, we'll have a short show, just a 30-minute show leading into Nebraska women's basketball, leading into Matt Coatney and Jeff Greesh for the pregame show there. We're going to hear from Mark Manning. They've got a big one coming up, Nebraska wrestling on Friday against Iowa, so we're going to dive into all of that. Also, Nash Hopmaker, his debut in Husker wrestling, how that all went down, all of that. Come back here tomorrow night.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. Let's create yours with a built Ford tough truck. Ford F-150 with impressive max towing capability and available Pro Trailer Backup Assist. So navigating tight spaces is as easy as turning a knob. Plus, with available Pro Power on board, you have power on demand. Be future ready with Ford F-150.
Now get 2.9% financing for 72 months on a new 2023 Ford F-150. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
There's no community like a Cenex community. And that's why every Cenex store is so proud to serve theirs by supporting local athletic teams, promoting the arts, and making sure each store is a place its neighbors can find what they need, catch up with their friends, and stay connected. It's also why we give back, helping to make the wonderful places we call home the best they can be. Your local Cenex doesn't just work in your town, it lives there. The store next door, powered locally at Cenex.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Woodhouse Cadillac, where luxury meets performance. Discover the seamless blend of design, innovation, and power as you explore the 2024 Cadillac lineup. Lease a 2024 Cadillac XT5 Luxury for $599 a month for 39 months, 10,000 miles per year. With approved credit, must have current Cadillac financial lease and Costco membership prior to January 1st, 2024. $2,500 down, plus first payment and $299 document fee due at signing. Offer expires February 29th, 2024. See